All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special live trade deadline edition. Sick podcast talking Titans. We'll also, get a little bit into this next upcoming game as well. Not too much, but a little bit. But mostly we're going to be talking about all the news that just broke. And who knows? Maybe we'll have a couple things to break as the show
Hello.
goes on. Crazier things have happened. So let's get right into it. Sammy, start us up.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Talking Titans.
Ward looking. Looping out of trouble. Trying to set up receivers. He's going to throw against his body to the end zone. Caught. Touchdown. Spectacular. Cam Ward, welcome to Nashville.
The sickest Tennessee Titans podcast. Sick! It's going to be sick.
Alrighty, welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to the Sick Podcast Talking Titans live edition as we get close to the trade deadline. It's going to be a fun show, and we're going to touch on all things Titans related, especially last 48 hours or so. A couple trades went down. We'll talk about that. We'll talk on possible missed trade opportunities because I would assume some of you believe there might have been a few missed opportunities today. But we'll get into all that good stuff. But before we do, great special shout out to our sponsors. Start with DraftKings. NFL fans, what's your favorite touchdown? For me, it is the next one. Man, there's so many puns I could just throw in there with this, but I'll keep it straight today. Because with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, every touchdown could bring you closer to cashing in, from first touchdown score to anytime touchdown props, or the thrill of living in-game betting. Every snap is loaded with opportunity. Here's the best part. New customers just bet $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Your team hitting pay dirt pays out to you. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code 6sports. That is code 6sports for new customers to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, fees may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday ticket/terms. Limited time offer.
And for our next sponsors is Ultra Pouches. I just popped one because I need mental clarity after what we're going to talk about right now. Ultra is a clean, focused pouch for peak performers, entrepreneurs, first responders, athletes, and anyone that needs mental brain fog quick. Nicotine-free, caffeine-free, and science-backed, it delivers smooth, reliable mental clarity in minutes. They come with 3 classic flavors: cool mint, wintergreen, and my personal favorite, tropical. Unlock your full potential at takeultra.com and use our code TITANS.
Awesome. Please do that. I'll be getting some soon too. I want to give it a shot. Moving on. I mean, as of right now, Draymond Jones is really the only guy that we sent packing. I'm sure a lot of people expected more. We'll get into what they could have done, what they didn't do, and so on and so forth. But Draymond Jones for a conditional 5th round pick that can become a 4th from the Baltimore Ravens. This is one guy actually kind of was on the keep side for, because I think I've seen him get better each and every week. Not like that's saying a lot, but I did like his talent on the edge, and I thought he had a little bit of a quality, some qualities that you probably want on the sideline as a guy to motivate his team around him. But they dished him out. What do you think on that, Jarett?
I mean, I told you coming into it, those guys that were playing well in the game. Obviously, we recorded 6 sacks. Draymond Jones had 4.5 sacks, I think, in the last 4 games or something like that. He was trying to playing his way out with the trade deadline looming, and that brought us to where it is today. It's a 5th. It could be a 4th, but a total miss, in my opinion, with more than, 6 minutes left. I keep refreshing Twitter over here just to see if anything pops while we're on live. Just a lot of missed opportunities. Obviously, what you saw today where Sauce, which is kind of a little egregious, 2 first round draft picks, they're all in, clearly, the Colts. Little high on that. But the thing that gets me is kind of similar kind of player with Quentin Williams with the Jets. They shipped him off, obviously, to the Cowboys for a first and a second. So now they loaded up. They traded Micah Parsons for a first also too. So they have back-to-back firsts in two drafts. That's how you start reloading your roster. You want to rebuild your roster, and you want to, you know, build through the draft. You need to start acquiring picks. We have a first, a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth that could be a fourth, a sixth, and a seventh. We need to start seeing more going into 26 and 27, just like the Jets did. The 27 draft, what the Jets have 3 picks, that is going to be one special draft. I'm telling you right now, that draft is going to be where you either make it or break it within the next 5 to 6 years, because that draft class is absolutely loaded. You want guys, in that class, you go trade Jeffrey Simmons after what we saw today, right? He's in a peak of his career. The Bears needed it. Obviously, the San Francisco 49ers needed defensive line help. You could have, gave them to them. The Cowboys, obviously, looking for help on the defensive line. And wide receiver help. If the Chiefs wanted anybody, Ridley could have been calling. The Bills, obviously, Ridley could have helped the Bills out. And the same thing, they needed the Chiefs needed running back help as well, right? With Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt, Tony Pollard. They could have went there with that. So, clearly missed opportunities. I would like to see what Borgonzi has to say tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning, if there was calls on Big Jeff and what the team views on going forward. But
I can tell you right now, there was if Quentin Williams is getting a first round pick,
that's what I'm saying.
There were calls for Jeff Simmons for
and
a first
that's a
round
swing
pick.
and a miss, in my opinion. We wanted to keep one of our guys. I understand that, but if we're trying to build and revamp this roster, and you want draft picks and you want to build within the draft and help your quarterback win, and we see the draft class that's coming out, why not take a shot? Because your new defensive lineman is going to be Tre'Davious Sweat. You have the plug in the middle, and then you can start branching out. That my opinion.
Yeah, listen, you're not wrong, absolutely not wrong. But I think you need to bring into the effect consider the possibility is what I should have said, that they didn't get calls. Calvin Ridley's making a lot of money. He's not doing much for the amount of money that he's making, and that team would have to take on a pretty expensive contract and hope to God that he pays off. Tony Pollard has a fumbling problem. He does. I'm not saying he's the biggest fumbler in history, but it's a problem. So maybe nobody values him enough to take him as a replacement, because you're taking a back that has an issue.
Yeah.
So I would have loved to dished out those guys if the return made sense. And anybody who has an issue with them not trading Jeff Simmons for a first rounder, I understand, but I don't think you should be appalled by it, because I also think it's not bad to keep one of the best defensive tackles in the league in his prime. And I've been very skeptical, or I've been very, sometimes, what's the word I'm looking for? Just harsh with Jeff Simmons. I've been critical, is what I should say. With his penalties and some of the things he's done as a captain off the field, I've been very critical of him. But he still is a game changer defensively. So listen, at the end of the day, to one thing to add as well, Jarett, which I brought this up to my dad when the news broke. This is phenomenal news that the Jets have more draft capital, and everyone. And I mean everyone watching this should be praying to God that, what's his name? The Spanish kid. What's his name? The quarterback?
What are you talking about?
The number one quarterback right now in college.
The Indiana kid?
He's any Spanish kid?
No, I think he's a white kid, but then you have Moore in Oregon too.
Come on. Who's the kid? Is it Mendoza or something his last name is? Who's the biggest the quarterback out there right now?
Indiana quarterback.
Okay. Well, you guys all better pray that he continues to look like Brett Favre, or the best quarterback of all the great college quarterbacks, because the better his stock value is, the better chances we're going to have, because the Jets are as desperate as possible. If this kid seems like a legit number one pick, and there are other teams in play that might offer Tennessee, whoever gets that first overall, some sort of dish for the number one, forget it. Like, sky's the limit on what we could get in return when a team like New York is so desperate to hit on a rookie quarterback that they draft high. So I think in that regard, that trade for Sauce, such an overspend for the Colts, number one. I mean, they might be all in, but Sauce Gardner is not worth 2 firsts. Like, Jet fans they're so wishy-washy on him every single year. So, um, overall, I'm not upset. I mean, assuming Calvin Ridley comes back after the bye week, like, I still want to see Cam succeed, and having him on the field, that's going to help him do that. So, overall, a little shocked we didn't move Chig, but it's what it is.
Yeah, especially with Tucker Kraft going down with the Packers, and obviously them in need of a tight end. I know they called the Browns too about David Njoku, but I mean, we could have got like a 5th or a 6th for Chig at least, and then you would have gave Gunnar Helm a lot more targets now in this. Going forward in the system. So I mean, I want to see what happens tomorrow at 10 o'clock at that presser. But I mean, maybe they valued. Obviously, I just read from Jordan Schultz that they valued T'Andre Sweat as a cornerstone piece of the defense moving forward. So they had multiple interest and multiple calls on him, and they were unwilling to move him, which is good for us because you still want to build within the defensive line. And maybe they said, you know what, we're still going to build around Jeffrey Simmons because he may have 5 good years left in him. And if we turn this thing around real quick within 2-3 years, we still have those 2 cornerstone linemen. But when you look at it from that perspective, with that many picks and that 27 draft class coming up, you scratch your head and you say, hey, man, that could be us with, the same style player. And Jeffrey Simmons, the way he's playing right now, is probably one of the best defensive tackles in the league. But I hear what you're saying now with the Jets possibly moving up, but do you really think the Jets, I mean, I think we have a better chance. I mean, this is going to come off really bad, but just hear me out on this. I think we have a better chance of winning one game versus the Jets now moving forward. So we can drop here with the Jets.
What do you mean, Jarrett? The Jets just scored 40 points the other day.
Yeah, but they unloaded on defense. So I mean, the defenses were the only ones that keeping them in games. I understand that. Could be wrong. It could be absolutely a swing and a miss by me. But I'm just saying, I would love that. Trade back a little bit, and they value
Have they played the Dolphins yet? The Jets? I don't think they have.
I don't know if they played once or two, but they do have to play
them yet. Listen, the end of the day, what this team needs, they don't have that much talent. If we had the 85 Bears and we're looking to get younger and we have all these Hall of Famers that we can dish out for picks, that's one thing. But there wasn't much for this team to give. So I can't get too upset about what Borgonzi and Brinker did because it wasn't like we had Jeff Simmons for a first. You can get upset about that, okay? But outside of that, so what? Tony Pollard didn't get traded for a guy who's going to be a fringe roster guy in the draft. All right, it's what it is. So we're going to have to let them do what they got to do in the offseason. And listen, I'm telling you, the Jets, man, they need a quarterback really freaking bad. And if we have that number 1 overall pick, I go back to the Jared Goff move from the Rams. Okay.
Yeah.
It's still, I mean, it could have been better, but it still worked out pretty decent at the end of the day. And it could be a very similar situation to that. And if it is, and we trust Borgonzi and Brinker, which based off this past draft, you'd have a lot of reasons to trust them. It could be really good for us. We have all the money in the world to spend. I would just stress that they don't use anything in the top 10 for any offensive lineman. I know Chad Winthrop said that to us the other day when he was on. I just can't watch it anymore. 15 games in a row, Jarrett, which obviously you sent the stat. 15 games in a row that you have been out touchdowned.
Yep.
That is
we're approaching history.
Egregious sign that it is your fault. You have a problem. You continue to fall on your way of doing things that is not right. So let's try to mix it up.
That's even in today's, just looking at that picture that I sent, obviously, from CBS. The 45 Cardinals, right? The 77 Buccaneers, the 29 Triangles. and the 76 New York
The
Jets.
triangles.
That's who we're talking about. And the 2024-2025 Tennessee Titans in today's NFL.
Yeah.
In today's NFL.
Yeah.
Is on that. That's absolutely embarrassing
The
to be on
Dayton
that list.
Triangles.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dayton
We're
Triangles.
going to pass them. Listen, I know people think we're going to sneak out a win. I don't know how you see it. I don't know how you see us sneaking out a win. Like, people, do you realize that, like, everyone's calling last Sunday's game, like, the best game of the year? That game was a fucking disaster.
Every game. So
Like,
I don't
what do
understand.
we take the wool over your eyes? Yeah, you're right. And the crazy part is that they're right. It was the best game of the year, but it was still a fucking train wreck. It was still a game we could have easily been competitive in the fourth quarter, but our moron, dipshit, head up his ass interim coach wants to continue the same style of play that got him the interim. So that's a smart idea. But somehow I get angry. Somehow I figure a way to get angry.
No, you brought up salary cap, and I have it written down here, which
Let's hear it.
is good because the salary cap, obviously, we have the second most going into next season. So, like I said, they may value this more, and maybe by them cutting Ridley and Pollard and Snead, right now we're at 108. We cut them; it's going to be somewhere around 135 to 145. So we're definitely going to have the most cap wise, but maybe they value that money a little bit more than those picks. Per se, to go after one of those guys. Maybe they want to go after, a trade for, DJ Moore or, Garrett Wilson, they already said, like you said the other day, but they said that he's untouchable right now. But these other guys entering, those fifth-year options, Olave, who knows, to sign, a player of that caliber.
Keep that up, Sammy. I'm sorry. Keep going. I'm
No, go
sorry.
ahead.
No. I just want him to keep. When you're done, I want you to
I'm
finish your
done now
point.
because
No, I don't want to. I'm not going to get crazy here, but all right. Well, so apparently there might have been some talk about a Patriot and Titan trade, and there's also a possibility. It's not set in stone. People are acting like it's written in the stone that Amy was against doing any sort of deals with the Patriots. Well, number one, you're not getting first round unless the Patriots are going to give you a first round pick for Jeff Simmons, which anybody who would be okay with Jeff Simmons going to Mike Vrabel for, I don't give a fuck what the price was. Like that, no. Sorry. No. I'm all for benefiting the team, and I'm not going to let emotions get in the way. But if I'm the fucking owner, and I bet 90% of you guys watching, if you're the owner, and I mean, most owners aren't diehard fans of the team beforehand, but you know what I mean. You're not trading Jeff Simmons to the Patriots. No fucking way you're doing that. So don't get upset at Amy for not wanting to do that. And I understand you're mad at Amy because of the situation we're in. I'll keep saying it over and over again. She hired people to do jobs that they didn't do. If you were screaming and yelling during every single one of those hirings before everything went shit, okay, you have a leg to stand on. But nobody was doing that. We were all excited about Carton and Callahan, and most of us thought Vrabel getting fired wasn't the craziest thing because guess what? We were horrible for 2 years in a row. So, like, all these Monday morning quarterback takes about the management and the ownership. It's just getting old, guys. It's getting old. Amy's not selling the fucking $1 billion football team she owns. Would you ever sell something worth over $1 billion that you owned? I don't think you're going to do that. So let's just move on from Amy's a joke. Like, let's pick another thing to complain about with this team. The ownership, like, come on. You know what I mean, Jarrett? You know what I mean? Come on.
I understand what you're saying, and I understand where the frustration is with everybody else talking about Amy because of the decisions that she's made in the past, right? That brought us here. It's the hire, and there's no continuity. And like I said, when you have players, even ex-players, talking about how bad the continuity is, you just have to sometimes let everything play out. Just kind of like how the Detroit Lions did, right? They didn't just after the 0-16 or whatever it was the season, and then they went 3-13, and they went 9-7, and then all of a sudden they start climbing the ladder, right? Us as Titan fans, we're just starting to, banter, on Twitter and saying, all right, Brian. I'm not saying this at all. I'm not saying Brian Callahan would have turned it around next year or in year 4. I'm just saying we need to start, which is probably this head coach now with the veteran head coach, start building continuity in this team and organization for it to be more of a destination and more of a
Okay.
winning culture team, which entails why I'm saying the top two head coaches that are going to be in my priority is going to be McCarthy and Nagy. Those are the only two coaches that I would really want to set a culture, because they already have done it. Coach of the year, Super Bowls, and all the other stuff. Because bringing another young guy, it's going to be in shambles, and you're going to start trying to build that continuity where it's not really always there.
Yeah. And one more thing, because again, this is something we see on Twitter like nonstop about ownership. And you're upset. I get it. Let's play devil's advocate. And we've already done this, but maybe some people weren't watching the last time we said this. Let's play devil's advocate. And Mike Vrabel isn't fired 2 years ago. And he's the head coach last year with Will Levis. What's this team's record? Is this team's record more than 5 or 6 wins? Probably not. So now you're then assuming, after a third consecutive year of football that is fucking pointless, you're going to bring back Vrabel again. It's not going to happen.
Okay.
Vrabel's not staying this year if the Titans win 5 games in 2024. So I agree that right now it's looking not great because Vrabel's doing very well with New England. But that just like when quarterbacks do better with other organizations, sometimes your time is up in a specific spot. And I think him at his best was no longer, you were not getting him at his best anymore at Tennessee. So just like you weren't getting the best of Jarvis Brownlee, and now the Jets are getting the best of Jarvis Brownlee. So it's like I am upset that Vrabel's doing well. I'm starting to regret it, but in the moment, based off of where this team was at that point, it wasn't stupid, it wasn't crazy, and you might have been against it, but you weren't calling it the dumbest move ever because we were a fucking train wreck right when he left, as much as we are right now.
You're definitely not wrong, and I am going to say it was a train wreck for letting him go because, just like I said before when we let him go, you don't know who the next head coach is going to be. Vrabel was a culture kind of guy. Now I'm going to ask you a question now, right? You never coached sports. We never coached at a professional level. We never coached high school or college or anything, but we know football, okay? In the last, how many drafts, right? We drafted, what, 23 guys, 25 guys, 30 guys? How many of those guys are on the team? Just answer that. One, right? Chig, one. That's not a coaching problem, all right? You can coach all you want, but when the guys that you draft are fucking terrible, that's not a coach's problem.
That's a scout problem.
That's up top, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If you're giving Mike Vrabel, Sal, Jarett, Jeffrey Simmons, all of that, we can't go on the football field as much as everyone thinks, we could be great. If we're not good football players, the coach can't do as much as what people think.
But this goes back to what we always. But this goes back to what we always argued about, Jarett. When they played bad, we never gave Vrabel any of the issue or the blame. But when they played good, he was the coach of the year.
Yeah, but
so
it's decisions. Listen, coaching is decisions on the field, and he had his blunders. Preparedness of a football team, discipline of a football team, not jumping off sides, stupid penalties, and all the other stuff. And
he kept culture. Todd Downing. Okay.
Yeah,
what up?
That was an obvious mistake. Yes.
Come on.
Okay. And he kept others too. Obvious mistake. That was his blunder. But I mean, when you hear guys, ex-players and then players now talking about how he built culture. I know we're talking about Vrabel, but I'm talking about head coaches in the NFL building cultures and continuity, like we're talking about how we want that back where we don't have it right now, which is lacking, and the roster problem.
Yeah.
Obviously, the whole roster thing is an issue, right? We're in this situation because we have zero depth, we have zero stars, we have zero anybody, just because of the simple fact of we swung and missed on multiple people in multiple rounds in the last couple drafts. That's why we're here right now.
Yeah. And John Robinson, man. John Robinson, unfortunately, when you're a general manager and you have two polar different sides of your career as a general manager where you do a lot of great and then a lot of horrendous, it really fucks you up. It does. You can't be so inconsistent at that position with an organization and not expect a collapse like this. So he put us in a lot of bad spots. Obviously, the A.J. Brown trade was the ultimate last nail in the coffin. everything, and I mean everything, slid down the second he left the team.
Of course.
So I mean, even with Derrick Henry, who's obviously a top guy of our generation, it was really AJ Brown that once AJ left, the Titans
Yeah,
offense
but
did not
look what
exist.
we were talking about the last couple of podcasts too. You have an elite running back. You have an elite wide receiver, right? When you're threatening running the ball, and then you play action, you're gonna have fucking AJ Brown wide open in the middle of the field, and Corey Davis wide open in the middle. That's where we need to be again.
Yeah.
And filling the void with Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears is not, Derrick Henry.
No.
And then Trayvon Burks, who was his replacement, is shipped out to Washington right now, right? This is why we're in the purgatory we're at. And that's not a Mike Vrabel problem. That's a culture problem starting at the top of John Robinson. And who knows, if it was above John Robinson that okayed it.
Yeah.
That's where I'm so pissed off about this. Now we have to start this whole thing again because we had a whole core nucleus. You could have paid all these guys. I don't want to keep going into the past. But if you want to talk about the past, what we had, it needs to be happening right now.
Yeah.
Now it's just like a whole fucking restart when we had it already, which drives me insane as a Titans fan. And I know it drives everybody in the comments, and I know it drives you insane too. Because we had it.
Well, I mean, and listen, we're obviously in tank mode, and it's some fans would be excited about this because, all right, we're not going to the playoffs, we're tanking, we're getting a number 1 overall pick to pair with our already number 1 overall pick quarterback, kind of like a similar Cincinnati Bengals situation, but the problem here is huh?
No Jamar Chase.
Well, not only that, but the level of neglect from the organization, like, because they started this tank, I don't know, second, third week of the year, and they were open about it, and I don't like how they are, like, there's a way to tank and still show your fans that you're attempting to at least be competitive because you want people to spend their own money to watch you play. And the fact that nobody's going to the front of the line in this organization and say, enough's enough. Okay, Mike McCoy, you go for every fucking 4th and short. You go for the end zone. When you're on the 1 yard line, you better, if you're going to run 2 times, you better throw 2 times too. We drafted a fucking quarterback who's not gaining any confidence because you want to lose. And you're content with making him look terrible and having everyone inside the organization think that you made a mistake in drafting him. That's done. I'm done with that. Let him be the quarterback you drafted him to be. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. He's going to be the first guy next year, too. We spent a number 1 overall. He's going to be the starter next year. This is all an experimental process here to get him better, to get him prepared. Maybe we can win a fucking week 1 game next year if Cam Ward's ready to be a perennial starter in the NFL. You're not going to get him ready for a perennial starting position when every time you're in the red zone, you want to run it. It's the neglect. The neglect is what is pissing me off. It's not what we're doing. We should be tanking. The Jets might give us fucking 3 first rounders if this kid's good enough. That's how desperate they are. But you need to show us that you have a clue of how to run a team and how to operate a team. And they're just like, they're doing this every week. No. And that's what pisses me off.
Listen, it pisses me off too. And thank God it's a bye week this week because to watch Titans football again this Sunday would be abysmal. But, who knows? We're probably 7-point underdogs anyway against the bye week anyway for Vegas. So we'd still lose at that.
Yeah, every week it blows my mind. I mean, again, listen, the Titans covered last week, so
yeah.
I don't know. I got a feeling that when they play Houston next week at home, Vegas might give us a little bit more. Trust me. Take the fucking Texans minus whatever they give you. Whatever they give you.
I want to see. I got to see if that lines out.
You know what else I can't stand either? Like, they're interviewing players in the locker room, and like we're just celebrating all those moral victories. Oh yeah, Cody Barton, tell us about that pick six, man. It was so fucking awesome. Everyone in the building thought we had a chance to win for 20 seconds. Let's hear more about that.
Yeah.
Oh, Chim DK. And listen, I'm not nothing. I love. I'm happy Chim DK got to, be happy. He deserves to be happy. He's in a disastrous situation. But we're like talking about shit like we won in the locker room. It's so pathetic. We're celebrating these 15-second victories we've had instead of saying, asking everybody in the locker room, hey, does anybody give up? Like, does anybody want to maybe fucking win a game? Are any of you pissed off that the coaching staff treats you guys like you're fucking high school players and they don't give you, they don't ever let you have a chance to make a big play in a big moment? Like, that's the part that's just like everybody holds each other's hands in the like nobody's angry. Like, I want to see people fucking angry. You know what I mean?
Well, that's where it comes with culture. And I did pull up in 2 weeks when we're home against the Texans. That line is plus 8.5 right now.
Take the college, take it out. If the kids are young, you can get it back. Take the college tuitions out.
I mean,
Texans.
Thunder. I see where you're saying. Throw it up, Sammy, again. Where he's saying that they have the same aura and presence as McNair too. Everyone's been saying it. Obviously, you saw Jones said it when he was on his way out. He said, "Give Cam time." He has no weapons and no offensive line. Dan Moore letting up
No coaches.
Dan Moore letting up 4 pressures and 2 sacks, and you have J.C. Latham on the other side. He's running for his life. He can't go through his progressions to see who's open if they're open. Because you have 2 rookies, three really rookies running out there, and you have a practice squad guy in Prochet. Who's getting open on this team against NFL caliber, starting cornerbacks that actually have played more than 9 games?
And I can't stress this enough. I'm so fucking sick of Xavier Restrepo not getting a fucking chance. Like you are the worst decision-making football team on the fucking planet Earth. Maybe, just maybe, you want to say to yourself, okay, well, these people in this building right now, they don't think he's good enough to get on the field. Well, guess what? The people that we do think we're good enough to be on the field, they couldn't beat fucking Bowling Green right now.
Yep.
So maybe we should think to ourselves, all right, well, we don't think Restrepo's good enough. Maybe he actually is. Let's just fucking throw him in there. Let's just instead of having Mason Kinsey play fucking special teams and getting in the game for 3 snaps on offense, let's just give this kid. I mean, it's not like he's played football at a high level with your rookie that's struggling, that everyone thinks sucks. Oh, no. I mean, there's no benefit to that whatsoever. There's no fucking benefit of having a guy that played, not to mention, has the most yards in Miami Hurricane fucking history, play a couple games on the worst team in the last quarter century.
That's what I'm saying. At this point in time, the way they value talent, and just give the fans what they want at that point. Obviously, give Cam Ward he can get open, especially if it's a zone. He can get open in the zone. They played together. They have that chemistry already together. Prochet's not doing it. Anybody else ain't doing it. Start building it, for the future. Maybe it'll be a little more exciting, down the stretch. Who knows? Give the fans what they want. And everyone's saying, oh, he would be on the field. Like you said, he would be on the field, if he was better than these guys. Who gives a shit? Obviously, what we've been seeing on the field, the way they value talent, right? Because some of the scouts are still there, from previous years. The way they value talent the last 4, 5, 6 seasons has been dog shit.
That basically, if you were, I don't think there could be any worse fucking thing to be told as a pro athlete. I don't think there'd be any bigger insult than to be told from your management, hey, listen, I'm sorry, Xavier, but you're not good enough to be on the field for the worst offense possibly in the history of the National Football League. Wow. I mean, that's got to be a tough pill to swallow. I don't think Xavier Restrepo is the worst receiver to ever be on a practice squad, ever. So it's foolish to even talk about it. But like, as you said, I want to see him fucking play. I want to see him on the field.
So does everybody in the comments. So does everybody in Tennessee. So does everybody in Miami. All of us. Just give them what we want. Maybe it'll be a little exciting on a Sunday to watch them, to dink and dunk down the field.
It will. I don't care if he couldn't beat fucking Amy Adams Shrunk if she was guarding him. I don't care if she couldn't beat him or he couldn't beat her on the sideline. I still want to see him. I want to see him on the field.
Wait, he posted a couple weeks ago that his new high speed or whatever the hell you want to call it is 21 miles an hour,
I know.
right? I know that means nothing, but obviously he's working on shit to get better because if everyone's saying he's slow, and he's working at it, give him a goddamn shot.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit about a 4.8? I can name. I mean, if I do the research, I can name other wide receivers that were great that ran a 4.8 or a 4.7. It doesn't need necessarily to be a 4.4 or a 4.5 or a 4.3. If you see the field and you can get open in a zone and work the zone, fucking play the kid.
Bro. Our number one receiver last week was fucking Van Jefferson.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a break.
I know.
I'm talking probably on the depth chart. Obviously, I think it would be safe to say DK or Ioman are more talented than Van Jefferson, but I don't want to hear nothing about, like, I hear Paul Karski say all the time, well, he's obviously not good enough. How the fuck do you know? Nobody fucking knows. Nobody knows he's not good enough. You
Yeah.
think he's not good enough. You also thought fucking JC Latham was worth it in the top 10. He clearly wasn't.
My
So
God.
let's stop. Let's stop worrying about what we think and just start throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. That's
Yeah.
all we should be doing. So listen, we're gonna have plenty of stuff to complain about in the last couple months of the year, but it's just there's nothing good right now. This is still we're in an earthquake. We gotta just grab on to something.
We're worse than an earthquake, bro. We're in a Category 5 hurricane.
Yes. So we're in a
It is
hurricane,
It is fucking bad right
and
now.
the National Guard ain't coming to help us. That's for sure. So we got to wait this out, and then Borgonzi and Brinker, man. I right now, especially Borgonzi, because Brinker was part of this for some of the horrible, horrible decisions. So I'm gonna pretend like I'm not gonna give him as much of a leash, but Borgonzi, he's the most important person here. Like he's the highest, freshest face we have.
Yeah. And
He's
next
got
year,
to he's got to be great.
February till May of next year needs to be a great turning point and turning the page for the future of this football team.
Yep.
Because if not, and we have some head scratching moves, and we're in training camp, like I said, we're not getting excited no more until we start seeing September and October. Until we start seeing, it produces on the football field. But if he has that really good stretch from February till May, with all that money and the draft picks, then I'll give him a round of applause next year.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't even know if we should do a fucking preseason record unless we label it a comedy. It'll be a comedy. People will make sure it's a bit. I'm
Well,
not
we can go back to the preseason when I predicted this current team, 10 wins. So,
we have to have Sammy and AC come up with a montage of all of the things we've said that I know every one of almost 1,000 of you watching would absolutely piss your pants at. Me too. You saying Levis looking like Brady.
Oh yeah.
I'm saying Traylon Burks could be better than fucking
Malik
AJ
Willis
Brown.
is the heir of Steve McNair.
Oh yeah, Malik Willis is reincarnation of Steve McNair. There's plenty of stuff. But we will not be doing that anymore. That is for sure, and that's a good thing. That's called learning. That's called growing. And that's what we're doing right now. We're growing as Titan fans. But listen, like I just mentioned, there's almost 1,000 of you watching. We humbly appreciate that. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel and you're on Twitter, hop over, just click it. We're pretty in the middle right now. It takes all 5 seconds. We would appreciate if you did that. We're usually live after every game, and we try to do multiple shows each week and bring great guests and be real. That's what we try to do. We try not to be scripted. We try not to be the podcast that has bullet points. We talk about the Titans like you and your boys would around a campfire with a couple beers. So, or girls, of course. So we'll wrap up. We'll digest everything that happens, and we'll make sure to hit you on the flip. We'll have another one before.
We'll see. We'll see what happens with the bye week this week. But like I said, I'm talking with 3 people right now for guest wise. So whenever their availability is, pretty good guests as well. Like I said, they were on the show already before. So whenever their availability is, we're gonna post it up. So
we're working on getting the K-ball guy on. We're gonna try to get him on. Asking the question.
Get him out of here too.
Yeah, no, man. Yeah, I wish he could have gotten traded for a new fucking landscaper for the field. But all right, guys. Hope everyone has a blessed rest of their night. Hope to see you all very soon. And as always, tighten up. Sammy, send us out.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Talking Titans on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.